I consider myself to be a pretty optimistic and high energy guy. I mean, to give you an idea, when I'm in my car listening to music, I'm usually that kind of person who's always singing, moving his head up and down. So this is pretty much in line with most of the genres I listen to. There's funk, fusion, city pop, and rock. But there's other times where I prefer to just mellow down and explore some other emotions in my music, to let my other half speak up. And this is usually when I put on Earthquake Lights. Hailing from Brooklyn, this band started all the way back in 2012 when the main guys met up in college. We got Steven Helms on drums, James Di Girolamo on bass, Cam Underhill on rhythm guitar, and Miles Rodenhouse on those keys and vocals. And so the band started by pushing out an EP, before going on a 7-year-long hiatus. Now that was a lot of time, but fortunately the guys came back. And since then, we've had 3 more albums to sink our teeth into. Now really, it was after this gap that we see them take a new shape and a new style of their music. And they've had been exploring this for a while, but I think it really all started with Distress Signals, their first album. Now let me preface by saying that I'm only gonna be covering their middle albums, both because I'm more familiar with them and because they're my favorites. I mean, come on. My video, my rules, dog. So without further ado, let's dip into the discography a bit, shall we? Alright, so the first thing that came out of them post-hiatus is Distress Signals. Sporting 10 tracks, this album delves into uneasiness and isolation. And I mean, come on, with a title like that, I think you already get the idea. And I really think that Mayday is one of the best examples of the whole concept of the album. I really enjoy how it gives this sense of being on the outside looking in, which just emphasizes more the confusion of trying to understand what went wrong, why you're hurt, and why you're alone.
Watching you all pass by, and oh, waiting to say goodbye. Oh no, sometimes I wonder why you always go.
Despite everything I said before being doom and gloom, there's a lot of good points here. I mean, part of what makes this band so unique is their ample use of. Now, this essential, beautiful element they put into their songs puts them somewhere between alt and orchestral rock, where the band's sweeping ballads are dancing along with the guitars, the drums, and the bass. This allows them to build on a more atmospheric sound, kind of like if rock met Hans Zimmer, and it allows them to expand on the texture to just suck the listener in. Another of the album's signature tracks is its last one, Were You Listening? This one definitely borrows from their more progressive and experimental elements. So the first time I listened to this song, I was falling asleep during a road trip. I mean, seriously, the strings they have on these songs just lull you to sleep, and not in a boring way. They're just so beautiful and filled with whimsy and make you want to relax. Anyways, as I was falling asleep, cut now to me waking up a couple minutes later when I hear this through my headphones. Now that's how you end an album. And the way that the strings just rise up from the ashes of what was left from the solo is just beautiful. It's like staring at the horizon at the beach, just longing and wondering what's next. What's gonna happen? Overall, this album, while sometimes feeling samey, sports the band's basic foundation. It's heartfelt, and the emotional baggage coupled with the easy listening experience just makes listening to this album really relaxing. And while in this album I do believe the songs can feel samey at times, and I've had friends tell me this too, I still find that the nuances in their instrumentation reveal themselves upon closer listening, and their sound will evolve later on, which, speaking of, it's time to move on to their second album, Desert Bloom.
Desert bloom, miles away, set in the open sand.
Now, the band was working on this record while pandemic struck, but despite this, along with many other musicians, they tried to make the best out of the situation. Many of the tunes on the previous album just really used the piano and the vocals as a core, and everything else was built up around it. But this time, there was gonna be a heavier focus on the groove, so the bass and the drums were gonna be worked on more. I mean, you can see this on the titular track, Desert Bloom.
Catch a fading moment in the shade. Here for today.
While the guitar is the main instrument that drives the song ahead, you can definitely hear a way more active bass line and those drums setting up that groove, which you can also hear at the beginning of Quarter to Midnight. Or during the chorus of Another Star.
Say goodbye. Find another star. Send a message.
Now, the second standout feature of the band is definitely the vocals provided by Miles Rollinghouse. Just the way that his voice perfectly blends with the style and the imagery they're trying to make, it's frankly awesome. My favorite vocal work would have to be on Off and Away. Just the way he handles the melancholic feeling on the chorus is just something so sincere and emotional about it. His timbre is one of the reasons I enjoy his voice, and it's so nice to see him utilize different techniques and dynamics along different tracks.
Off and away, just like before. Take back your word. Tell us we're not worth it anymore. Straight out the door, back to your friends. Tell them we don't need them anymore.
So what is the band up to now? Well, fortunately for us, the band is still here, and they still release live performances of their tracks on their YouTube, and they're pretty active on Instagram. I also believe that they're currently in the middle of production for their fourth album, which, I mean, hopefully it comes out this year, but we don't know. They've been slowly building up a bigger fan base, and there's more people listening to them right now than years ago. But to my disappointment, the band doesn't really perform live. They've done it before, but only in pretty rare instances, and I hope this is something they can change in the near future. And I wish that I'll be able to see them somewhen in my lifetime. It's been about 3 years since I started listening to these guys, and seeing their style and sound develop across these years, along with the success they've been having, really inspired me to improve my own musicianship and playing. And I don't know what's up in store for their next release, but what I do know is that I'm gonna be waiting there anxiously for more music. Because if there's one thing I've learned, is that you can never take the things you like for granted, especially while they're still around, rocking for years to come.
Someday you'll know.